Hi, my name is Michelle Grant. I'm the Director of Industry Insights for Retail and Consumer Goods here at Salesforce. One part of my role is to analyze all of the data that's flowing through our Commerce Cloud platform and analyze it. So the data I'm about to show you is based off of real transactions on websites that are powered by Commerce Cloud. So this will give you a good overview of what's happening in Europe now, but also some nuances about the region when you think about your launch strategy. This is a look at how e-commerce sales did quarter by quarter during 2022. Obviously, the region had a lot to contend with, especially with the war in the Ukraine. And so you can see in Q2, sales declined 12%. And that decline continued. There's a lot of economic uncertainty. And then especially going into the winter season when there were real concerns about heating costs. And overall, we saw the e-commerce market shrink by 10% for the year. So, but it wasn't all bad news across all verticals, although you can see that most of the verticals were impacted negatively. General handbag and luggage was up, luxury handbags are up. So verticals that you needed for travel or returning to work or going out, going to events, those tend to do better in this environment as we see sort of a merchandising pivot from what you needed to stay at home, like toys and learning, home appliances, online grocery. Those did very poorly last year as they came off of really highs for during the pandemic when a lot of non-retail stores were closed. And then again, those verticals that you need, general footwear, luxury apparel, that you need to be out and about, those picked up steam last year. What we saw was that overall e-commerce traffic did grow by 2%, even though sales were down by 10%. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is people are more price sensitive. Well, I guess this is the biggest reason is that people are very price sensitive. And so they're doing more price comparisons when they are shopping, and that includes online. And then in some cases, they may have been online and then saw the price and abandoned that sale because of high prices or the inability to afford that good. But you can see the split by device. So when you're going into Europe, you can see that the bulk of the traffic is coming from the mobile device, and that's pretty consistent throughout the year. And in fact, mobile gained share in Q4 during that crucial holiday season. This is an interesting look at conversion rates. So when you go in and you're benchmarking yourself in Europe, for 2022, the conversion rate was 2.1%. So anything higher than that and you're doing better than the market, any lower than that, you need to look into how to increase conversion. And we can see this is a bit more dramatic because of the chart, but it did pick up a little bit during Q4. Obviously, people are shopping with intent during the holidays, and so conversion rates do tend to be higher in the fourth quarter of the year. Here's what we were looking at the average selling price by quarter for Europe. So you can see sort of, again, when you go in, what kind of pricing might be acceptable on whole across all of those verticals. We saw the average price hover around $24 and $25. It did go down to 22 in Q3, but that gives you an idea of the average sales price for a single unit in Europe. And this is a discount rate. So this is how much discounts, what the total discount applied is to the checkout. And again, it's broken out by quarter. You can see you probably will look into, to be industry average, you're going to be around 15% of a discount to move the needle for Europeans. It did drop during Q2 and Q3, which was a good thing. But again, the holiday season ramps up and it did inch up to 16% as a discount in the fourth quarter. So when you enter Europe, from our experience, we see that social media accounts for about 7% of traffic to your website. So thinking about that is important, and how much you want to embrace social media as a traffic driver. And we did see it pick up in Q4 at 8%. So again, people definitely spend more time on social media looking for different products for gifts. It's winter, so people aren't really traveling, they're on their phones more. So we always do see this uptick in social media traffic in Q4. But overall, social media traffic declined 6%, which means that social media traffic lost share because traffic was up overall 2% for the year. So so Apple they implemented their privacy changes in April of, I want to say 2021. You may need to fact check on me, although the years are blurring together. That really impacted the efficacy of Facebook ads because of the targeting restrictions, and it made it more expensive. So we're seeing a very mixed performance with social media because of those changes, and these platforms keep changing the rules. And so again, keep that in mind, especially as you go into Europe, where privacy laws are much more strict, that social media may not be you should not rely entirely on social media for traffic. Another important thing when it comes to any sort of region that you're going into is what kind of payment methods are you offering? And as you can see, here are the different splits by quarter by different payment methods. Credit card dominates. Others, sort of like electronic transfers, are still popular. There's unique European payment types there. And then you have PayPal is still very important for consumers to have that sort of easy checkout experience. And then buy now, pay later, which is pretty substantial in Europe, followed by Apple Pay and then gift cards. So you can have so this is a good overview of the different payment methods and the top ones that you want to include. So in an era of where sales declined for that year, Apple Pay sales actually were up 29% in 2022. And that's something that we see globally. Apple Pay, with the rise of contactless payments in the stores due to the pandemic, has really gained share globally, including in Europe, as far as a payment method. So that's something that you should think about, maybe adding to your website for that frictionless checkout experience to drive conversion and sales using Apple Pay. But again, as you can see, it is from a small base. And so if you're, limited into how many payment methods you want to offer, certainly PayPal is probably the first one that you want to add, unless your audience is younger. And then probably Apple Pay, based on our research, really resonates with younger consumers, and PayPal with Gen X and elder millennials who grew up with the PayPal as their default digital wallet. We actually have Q1 data for 2023, and there are some positive signs. So it's not all doom and gloom in Europe. In fact, sales overall were only down 4%, which is good news. And then, of course, there are various countries that really drag down the growth. So Netherlands, Nordics, UK, Germany. So if you're looking at other markets, and maybe UK often is where people start because of the lack of a language barrier, but you're probably still looking at a challenging environment, given in Q1 it was down 10%. As for the other countries, I'm going to look at my notes to make sure I get this right. Spain, Eastern Europe, and other Europe, this is actually 2 years. This is the second year of sales growth in Q1. So these countries are growing on top of growth from last year. So that's a really good sign, that those markets are robust and sort of increasing the share of e-commerce in those retail markets. France, Italy, and Belgium saw declines in Q1 of 2022, and then so this is a bit of a rebound for them. So that growth isn't totally net new. It's kind of reclaiming a little bit of what was lost in Q1 of 2022. The verticals, the growth is looking a little bit more spread out, right? Again, they all sort of struggled in 2022, but I looked at the top growing ones, and handbags and luxury apparel grew both in Q1 of 2022 and Q1 in 2023. So again, those sectors are doing really well as people get back to their normal shopping habits for clothes that you can, that you need to attend events and dinners and travel and all those things. Active footwear grew very, very strongly, as you can see, but there was also a decline in 2022. So that's coming back a bit. And so those are some of the key things, but you can also see that we're still sort of in this merchandising pivot where, toys and learning had such a big boom during the COVID years that it's down dramatically still in 2020. Appliances, sporting goods, general apparel, or furniture and food and beverage, like again, those categories are a bit challenged because people stocked up on so many things, and replacement cycles are longer. And then also, again, the macroeconomic situation in Europe is just kind of as uncertain as it is here in the US. So things like general apparel are not as doing as well as they used to.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. I just want to again, take a quick shout out to you and to Salesforce for supporting US businesses going global. You've taken your time out. I know that you get lots of big sums to go speak at conferences, to do these types of presentations, and taking some time out to give us the really Q1 2023. It's rare to get any data that's that fresh. So thank you.